Hello and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. I'm Gerald Morrow and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Profit Break. Thanks for joining us. Our mission here at Bowling University is to enrich people's lives personally and professionally, and the Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce cost, enrich yourself, your team, and your business. If you're joining us today for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you'll be well on your way to improving profitability. On today's show, we're going to talk about the party experience, and we have the privilege to have a hospitality and guest experience guru joining us today, Bob Pacanovsky. Bob is a friend of Bowling University program, and some of you may have experienced one of his sessions at Bowl Expo, a state meeting, and or here at the campus at one of our management schools. When it comes to creating an experience, he has firsthand experience with more than 7,000 events, including 25 National Pro Football Hall of Fame induction parties. Plus, he's a previous in-studio guest on the Profit Break, but this time he's joining us remotely to help us understand how we can provide a black tie experience that can increase our profitability when it comes to parties. Bob, thank you for joining us today. How's it going?
Well, thank you, Gerald. It is wonderful. I will admit it feels a little odd. I've been in the studio twice, so now I'm in my own studio, so to speak, in Akron, Ohio. But it is great to be here, and I love that I'm going to be able to talk with you and help your members out.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I mean, you're like the best dressed man here today because you got the bow tie going on. So you make me feel well underdressed today for today's session. So I'm glad you're remote. The information I know we're going to talk about doesn't matter if you're here or remote, it's valuable to our members. So we're going to get started today. I know we've talked about before off camera, just that whole idea of the party experience. So when we talk about the party experience, does it begin when the guest arrives at the center, or where does the party experience actually begin?
You know, you would think that it would begin when people walk through the doors, but I think it begins even before they are interested in booking your center. So, and here's what I mean by that is it's when they first start looking at your center. Maybe that could be online, or maybe they'll call your center. And so what is the impression that you're going to try to create for these for these people? So who answers the phone and how, are they smiling, and are they able to answer questions, and are they able to really talk about fun or that's on the phone, or even just, or that if they fill out the contact form on your website, how long does it take for someone to get back in contact with them? And is your website, does it have all the information that it needs? So all these things really start forming this overall party customer service experience even before they walk into your center.
Awesome. So the party experience starts well before they even walk into the center, but let's go ahead and say that our team knocked it out of the park. We've booked the event. We've booked the party, whether it's a birthday party, company party, it's some kind of group event that we have booked. So where should our focus be next? Should we start focusing on the guest?
Well, and again, you would think that would be the case, but I'm here to tell you that I think because they are a customer, certainly, but I think we have to focus first on our internal customers, our people. What type of experience are we going to provide them each and every time they show up to work? Do we make them feel more valued and more appreciated and be a part of the team? So that really starts with onboarding and training, and really making sure that the foundation of your business is set, which I call the culture. So how strong is that culture? Because here's one thing, Gerald, that I had a colleague of mine tell me just years ago, and I really never forgot this. And he was talking to me as the owner of my business. He said, Bob, how you treat your employees will be typically how they will treat your customers. So, and I never forgot that. So I really think that it starts with that. And so that so when your people now come and they're working with your guests, whether it's a birthday party or a corporate event or whatever type of event, they can or your guests will be able to tell that your staff really does enjoy working there. They enjoy serving them. They enjoy really taking care of all those details for them. I was back in 2019. I was at one of the state meetings, and one of the nights out that we went to one of the centers, and there on the wall, I'll never forget it. Well, it was a big poster of the core values of the center. And there were 3 or 4 of them. So me being the curious type, I actually went up to the staff person or just a few staff people and said, hey, tell me about these core values. And they were so passionate. They could tell me about them because they were living them each and every day. And I think that really shows through to your guests.
So it all starts with taking care of your employees and the culture you provide at your center. So if you take care of your employees, they're going to take care of your guests.
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. So we'll kind of transition from this again over to, I know for people that have seen you in person, I've had the privilege of being there at Expo and stuff. You talk about the big 4 when we talk about the guest and customer experience. So when you talk about the big 4, you also are talking about the first 4. So for those people that haven't had the privilege of seeing you in person, let's talk about the first 4 and how it improves that overall party or guest experience to make it a positive one.
Sure. So this really came about. I had a friend of mine send me an article that was, and in it was, we're talking to the co-founder of the Ritz-Carlton, and what he was saying, they did thousands of research studies, because they had all these guests coming in, and they said that if they felt that if a customer's first 4 contacts with their hotel, now I call them impact points because I think everything we do makes an impact. But what they were saying was that if the first 4 contacts go well with their hotel, which means maybe, for example, it's the phone clerk taking that guest reservation, it's the doorman, it's the bellman, it's the front desk person. But if those first 4 go well, there will be virtually no complaints thereafter. But if something doesn't go just right from the beginning, well, there's more of an opportunity for those complaints to sprout up even more quickly. So what that means for you is, what are your first 4? What are your first 4 contacts that you need to work on every single day? And the best way to do that, Gerald, is for you to become your customer. Walk into your center, call your center, or see how you're being treated, or maybe have a mystery shopper, whoever it is. But if you can get those first 4 right, and maybe it's the parking lot, maybe it's the lobby, maybe it is the front desk, whatever it is, pick which are you feel those first 4. Always look at those, get those right, and I promise you that everything else after that could really go very well, because your guests already have this great party mindset experience that they're already starting to feel, and they haven't even bowled yet with you.
Awesome. So keeping it simple for me, I like that. The first 4 impact points. So those first 4 points where you have an interaction with the guest, from, like you talked about in our first question there, it begins even before they get to the center, is huge, because so often, I know for myself, when I was in the centers, you would have a website and you're like, hey, we got the coolest website. You can book a party online. But sometimes it might be a hurdle, or it might not be, from the user experience, the best thing. But on the back end, it's great for us there at the center. So yeah, walking through those first 4 impact points is definitely huge and a great takeaway. So besides those first 4 impact points, what would be, let's say I said, hey, Bob, can you give us some stuff that our centers, our members can go back and start to use right away to improve this guest experience? What would be something simple that they can start to work on with their team to start moving this guest experience or this party experience forward?
Yeah, so there are just a few things. Number one is, I use the word empower. Can you empower your staff through training to really make the guest's mindset even easier? See, problems will probably show up every once in a while when a party comes, but and so that if your staff has to keep going back and forth to a manager or someone, it's going to create maybe a negative, or maybe even worse, a neutral impression in the minds of your guests, because they've paid a lot of money to be there, or they have a great night out. But so empower your people to really train them to make these overall decisions right there. Now, some of them may not be able to, but all the little ones, and they should be able to say, yes, you know what, we can do that for you. Or, you know what, we can't, but let me tell you what we can do instead. I'm saying, oh, let me go check, blah, blah, blah. That's number one. Number two is, how can you personalize this experience for your guests? I mean, you already know some things about them, and maybe that's your sales team, but if they can now get these notes out to everybody, so maybe, they have 5 or 6 lanes that are reserved, but there is the favorite snack or the candy that the guests had talked about, or maybe it's that personalized concierge type service if you have the staff. So now you have 2, 3, 4, whatever staff that are solely focused on that event, and that's all. So what they're doing is really personalizing that overall guest experience, so that your guests don't have to go up to the bar, wait in line 15, 20 deep. Nope, they have their own personalized staff right there. So those are 2 things that I would recommend to empower and to personalize that guest experience.
Awesome. So those are definitely some things that our members can go back and start to implement right away that are simple. Sometimes we do that and we just kind of get busy and we forget. So it's a great reminder to get back to sometimes some of the basic stuff to really just improve that party experience. So I'm checking the clock, and Kelly's giving me the hook, but I'm going to sneak in one more question here. So is there any other part of the party experience that we should concentrate on, that we should focus on? I mean, we talked about, hey, before they get into the center, again, empowering your staff, but what is another part of this whole party experience that we should spend some time focusing on?
If I want you to focus on not having your clients be a one and done, I want you to build loyal customers, brand ambassadors for your business. So it's really what I call the after party, or just the after party. So follow up with them, and not the 15-minute survey on that. No, make it personalized. Make that phone call or that text message or that personalized email saying, hey, thank you so much. Tell us, what did you really enjoy about your time with us? And are there 1 or 2 things that maybe we could have done better for you, because we want you back in our centers. And then maybe you can give them some type of incentive there, or maybe follow up with a little thank you gift to say, hey, thank you so much for being here. We want you back. Just here's something small to say thank you, and let's talk about when we can bring you back again. So that follow-up, which please, or what I would recommend, don't wait any longer than 48 hours to do it, because after that, they've kind of forgotten about it, they've moved on. But if you can get them within that first 24, 48 hours and find out what you did well, maybe some things you can improve, give them something to come back, you're in good shape.
Awesome. So not only are we closing out the guest experience, we're also kind of seeding for future business and asking for them to come back, which that in itself is going to increase your profitability. If you can take a current guest and get them to increase their frequency, it's easier than getting a new guest. So just valuable information. I appreciate all of this, Bob, and I know our members do as well. I wish I would have known some of this stuff when I was out in the centers operating. So I know these guys and ladies can put this to good work, and we appreciate your time today, Bob. Thank you for joining us. And
my pleasure. Thanks, Carol.
Awesome. So Bob is always a friend of the program, and he doesn't mind us sharing some information with you. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to Bob directly at bobpacanovsky.com, or you can email him. His email's right there on the screen, or give him a call. He would be happy to help you. So as we wrap up another edition of the Bowling University Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to you joining us next time. If you have any question about today's episode or would like additional information, you can always reach us here at Bowling University at education@bpaa.com. Also, all previous episodes of the Profit Break are available 24/7 for you and your team to watch at bowlinguniversity.net. Plus, we're releasing new Profit Break episodes every month, so mark your calendar, watch your email, or join us on Facebook to hear about the latest episodes. Until then, I'm Gerald Morrow, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. See you next time.